I'm Brendan, the Support and Enablement Manager for Agility, and today we're going to take a look at content items and how to make them. If you're somebody who spends a lot of time editing content within Agility, this is going to be super important for you. The first thing we're going to do is head over from the homepage to the content section. Here you're going to get a general overview of the content that's in your instance. On the left-hand side here, you can see a couple of different content items that we'll talk about. The first are individual pieces of content, like this banner or the site header. An individual piece of content is really just a piece of content you only need one of. Like in most situations, a site or digital solution only needs one site header. You don't need to have a whole container of them. So in that case, a developer will have defined a content model for a site header. And as an editor, you just need to click on it, go in and fill out the required fields for the content that needs to be displayed in that header. In this example, you can see the header just needs a site logo, some alt text for that logo, and below that, the site name to display in the header. So you would go ahead, click on Browse to select an asset that already exists in your instance. In most cases, you would likely already have your logo uploaded. Or you could click the drop down here to upload a new one. Once you have that, you would add the alt text for your logo, and in the bottom, you would add the site name. When you're happy with the content that you've placed into each of these fields, you can click the drop down here to click preview and view the content on your live site to see how it's going to look before you actually publish it. This is a super important step. If you don't have previews enabled and aren't able to do this, we would recommend reaching out to your developer so you can utilize this feature. Once you're happy with it and you are ready to publish it, you can go ahead and click the publish button, and this is going to push the content from staging to the live site so it's available for everybody to see. Now, in the event that your instance has approvals enabled and you don't have publishing permission, there might be a secondary step here where somebody with publishing permissions would have to review it first and approve it before it's pushed to the live site. The next thing that we're going to take a look at are content containers. So this is going to be a container of content that's similar or related and uses the same content model. A great example of this are blog posts. So if we click on this content container here, we can see the blog posts that currently exist in our instance. We could click on one to edit it, or what we'll do is click on new to create a new blog post. As you can see here, I've been working on one. I've already put in a title of new blog post, and it exists in staging. If I were to change this and say new blog post travel, you can see it automatically updates the URL slug below. So it relates to the title, and this is the URL that you'll end up using to access the content on your site. Below that, we have the date. It knows what the date is and what the time is, so it's already filled this out. And below that, we have blog category. Now the blog category is another excellent example of content that you would make in a content container. So if we click the drop down, we can see we have travel tips, travel guide, and new category, which is one that I've recently added. This is an example of linked content that's linked to our blog category's content container. So if we were to click on that container, we could click new, and we could add a new category that would appear here in this drop down. Below this, we have our blog featured image. So just like the logo in our site header, we can browse our assets to select an image, which we'll do here. Though we also could have hit the drop down to upload a new one. We can add some alt text, so we'll be like, cool guy sitting on a dock. And below that, we'll have our blog content. This is a really neat blog post. So once we have all of this filled out, we have our blog content, we're happy with that. We've got our image, we're happy with that. We're okay with the title and the URL slug that we have. We can go ahead again and hit preview to see what it's going to look like on the live site. Make sure that we're happy with it, and just go ahead and hit publish. As you can see, this has published the content to our live site, and we can see the state has been updated here to show that it's been published. Now down here, we can also see the SEO for the piece of content that we're working on. If this is something that you need to fill out, you can do so here. You can also decide whether this is visible or not on the site menu in the nav bar. And below that, you could add your keywords, description, any additional header markup, stuff like that. And to get started, that's really all you need to know when it comes to creating content items in Agility. You have single pieces of content that you only need one of, and you have content containers, which are groups of like or related content that all share the same content model. If you have any other questions at all about how content works or creating content items, we have some excellent resources available on our website at agilitycms.com. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one.